Today on Dr. Phil. Would you let a 9-year-old take the subway alone?
I could never, ever, ever.
If you never let them do it, they're going to be blithering idiots.
You break out in a rash even thinking about
I
it.
did. I had a physical reaction.
And are you a helicopter mom? You drive by with your headlights off so you can look in the windows at her friend's house. Well, do you think she doesn't know you're stalking
Well,
her?
now she does.
We debate extreme parenting. Today, it's appointment television for all parents. And while we're getting ready to start the show, I want every parent watching this to think about this question. Is it better to hover over your children, never let them out of your sight in an effort to keep them safe at all times, or to be hands-off and give them some freedom because you feel it will help them learn the life skills they need, like independence and responsibility? We're going to drill down on this hot-button issue, but first, I want you to meet Izzy. You won't believe what Izzy was allowed to do all by himself at 9 years old. Izzy, how you doing?
Good.
So were you scared?
I wasn't scared at all.
Not scared a bit?
No.
So would you do it again?
I would do it as many times as I want.
Just no problem, just go do it. All right, stay tuned and see if you would let your 9-year-old do what Izzy's mom decided he was capable of doing on his own.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Some say it's a hard life, but it's hard for us all. Always hold on.
In 10,
Always
9,
be strong. Reach out for
5, 4, 3, 2.
Stand by, camera 6. Go, Dr. Phil.
In this day and time, parents are bombarded with all kinds of dangers their kids can fall prey to. Molesters, cyber stalking, predators, drugs, bullies, the list just goes on and on. But how far should a parent go to ensure their child's protection? And how far is too far? Now, today we're going to talk about what's best for your kids. But first, I want you to meet Lenore. She's a mom who feels kids today need more freedom and says she's starting a free-range kids movement. Take a look.
Obviously, every mom wants their kid to have a happy childhood. But for me, that involves some freedom. I let Izzy get someplace by himself, go to the park, meet up with a friend without me hovering all the time. Helicopter parents, the new term that everybody's using, are called that because they're hovering over their children all the time. They always have an eye on their children. So my response to that is to have free-range kids. Going to the store, walking to school, getting a hot dog. These are things that any 9 or 10-year-old is capable of. You cannot avoid every situation in life that may end up being a little bit dangerous. If they learn how to cross the street by themselves, they learn how to take a bus, they're capable of it if we let them do it. But if you never let them do it, they're going to be blithering idiots. A child who doesn't think he can do anything, he's told he can't, eventually really can't.
Well, Lenore put her own theory to the test. She left her 9-year-old son, Izzy, in the handbag department at Bloomingdale's with 20 bucks, a map, and a New York City Metro card. And here's what happened next.
I let Izzy take the subway by himself when he was 9 because, first of all, he asked us if he could.
I wanted to feel like I was part of everybody else, not just a little kid who has to do everything their parents tell them to.
He knows how to read a map, he can speak English, he's familiar with the subways. We feel the city is safe, and especially the subways are safe. So we decided it was time.
Clear up the closed doors, please.
I didn't think there was anything difficult about taking a subway ride on a sunny Sunday afternoon. Lots of people around. You know, what is so weird about a kid being able to get around his own city? It didn't seem dangerous and it didn't seem crazy. It seemed fun. and then all hell broke loose. It's kind of amazing to me that people are calling me America's worst mom, because I'm not. What I'm giving my children is the exact same kind of childhood their parents gave them.
I think all of the parents are making too big of a deal out of it.
So I just think of it as living your life like a normal kid as opposed to being hovered over. He's capable of getting out there and enjoying life without us watching every second.
Okay. Cute kid.
Why, thank you.
And a great kid. I mean, I was
Okay,
just
I
talking
have to
to
agree,
him.
right?
He's super smart and obviously a precocious young man.
I don't know if he's so precocious,
Well,
but
why did you decide to do this?
he was familiar with the subways. I think of the city as safe. Statistically, it is really safe. And he wanted to do it. And my husband and I discussed it, and we thought, okay, he was ready. He knew how to read the map. We let him do it.
He knew how to read the map, and so he left Bloomingdale's. It's the original
Had to find
Bloomingdale's.
his way
down
out of
on
Bloomingdale's,
59th
yeah.
Street. That's the hardest thing.
It's impossible.
Finding a way you
But
get
he
out of
did.
that multi-floor thing. Okay, then he had to get to the subway.
Yeah.
And then he had to ride the subway to a certain place, and he took a bus.
Right.
Okay, let's take a look at the map. Okay?
Let's see what it looks
So, okay, here's the map. He left Bloomingdale's. He walked down, got on the subway, went down to 34th Street, took a bus, down 2nd to 23rd.
like. That's us, yeah.
Okay?
Now you can come and visit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, now, here's a flip side statistic that a lot of people would talk about. Let me see
Okay, let's see.
this next map. Okay.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
It's like child molesters in the neighborhood.
Actually, it's not just child molesters in the neighborhood. It's what we asked was how many child molesters were within 1 mile of this route. And those dots don't represent one person because they were so concentrated that you couldn't get them all up there. There were 357 level 2 or 3 child molesters within 1 mile of that route, meaning that this is probably their primary source of transportation along the way.
And then
That's the flip side.
Right.
Okay.
But what I wrote in my article is that there's millions of people in New York City. There's 8 million people in New York City. And when Izzy was on the subway, he was surrounded by hundreds of people who I'm assuming would help him because most strangers are really good. And he knows, we've taught him about stranger danger. I mean, he knows not to go with some guy who asks, please help me find my puppy, or do you want some free candy, or whatever. So I think if you teach your kids awareness of what they do have to be worried about, and then there's the whole rest of the world sort of out there watching out for them, and the kid watching out for himself, I do think it's safe.
And he knows his address, and he knows his phone number, and he knows. I mean, well, I want people to know that.
Yeah,
because
he
this
does.
isn't
Yeah, no, he
where you
wasn't
just like took some kid that had never been in the sun and pushed him out and said, "We'll either see you again or we won't."
Well, it's funny because that's how people are reacting to me. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you have another son. This must have been your spare. You know, like somebody thought, why would I give him a day of fun knowing that he was probably
No,
going to be
I
molested
don't-
by the end of the day? It's not what I thought. I thought he'd get home safely, and he did.
I actually don't think it was reckless, and I know I'll get
good.
1,000 emails
No, you'll get one
about
from
that
me,
because
hooray.
I don't think it was reckless because I've met your son, and you know, he's obviously a very thoughtful young man. But I think it requires preparation, and you've done
Sure.
that.
But I think that anybody could do that with their kid, even at 7 or 8, get them ready to start walking to school. These are things that people have stopped doing. Let them ride to the local pool and, you know, let them have a day on their own.
Well, let's poll the audience. How many of you say, I absolutely would not do something like... Now, I know you don't know New York, and it's
Yeah,
probably
also-
scary to you if you haven't been to New York, but I'm talking about in your own towns or whatever. How many of you would say, I would not do that with a 9-year-old? Most of you say no. How many of you say, yeah, I would do it?
I have to say that's why I started my blog, freerangekids.com, because there are a lot of people who do think that it's a good time to start moving back from the pendulum having swung to being so scared.
It depends on the child.
Yeah.
It depends on their age. It depends on their child. It depends on their awarenesses and their competencies and those sort of things. So, I mean, it doesn't mean you just go lock the kids out of the house and watch the rest of the show. You got to decide. You got to decide. You know what your children are prepared to do. Now, some say Lenore's decision was extreme. We're going to meet a mom who thinks Lenore is absolutely crazy for doing this when we come back.
When Madeline's in her room, I listen in through the door. I'd go to her cheerleading practices and park down the street.
We call her Psycho because that's how she acts.
All right, eavesdropping, surveillance, spy games. Now, we're not talking about the CIA today. We're talking about snooping moms who admit that they go to extremes to keep tabs on their kids 24/7. And we're getting to the bottom of just what type of parenting is best for the child. I mean, is it best to turn them loose and let them run some? Is it best to smother them and keep them on a short leash so you can protect them? Now, Lenore and Maria have very different opinions. While Lenore thinks kids have a right to some freedom, Maria says she's constantly hovering over her 3 children, especially her 17-year-old daughter, Madeline. She says on a hover mom scale of 1 to 10, she's about a 12.
I have OTT syndrome, which is over-the-top mothering. Madeline, my daughter, refers to me as her psycho mother. Why don't you pick the phone up?
We call her Psycho because that's how she acts.
Who'd you sit with in the cafeteria? What are you doing tonight?
I'm not sure yet. She likes to be in control of everything.
When Madeline's in her room, I listen in through the door. I'd go to her cheerleading practices and park down the street.
My mom always follows me in her car anywhere I go, whether it's down the street to my friend's house, a football game, out for coffee.
I turn off the headlights so she doesn't see me, and I glide by. Spying sounds so tawdry, but that's what I do.
My mom constantly calls me on the cell phone, even when I'm in the house.
What are you studying for?
Anatomy.
If I can't get them, I call the friends' numbers.
When I was in middle school, the school was right across the street from us.
My son is at recess across the street. I get my high-powered binoculars out. I think I have scared every available male in the state away from Madeline. She brought a boy home. I asked him to pee in a cup to test for drugs. I wanted to get his DNA before he left the house.
People have the Beware of Dog sign on their front porch. I should have Beware of Mom on it.
Okay, so we'll get to your situation in a minute. You think she's crazy.
Yeah, you can say it.
I think she's crazy.
She doesn't need your permission to say it. Okay?
I do.
Do you or don't you?
There's different variances of crazy, and perhaps we both are on different levels. I could never, ever, ever let my 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11, 12, 13-year-old on a subway.
Yeah, tell me why.
Here's what I think. We're caregivers of these children for a very short time, and to protect them every day is my job, and I apologize, but it's just kind of throwing them in harm's way, I think. I'm sure you live in a lovely neighborhood.
Well, you say you break out in a rash even thinking about it.
Oh my God, I did. I had a physical reaction.
But let me ask you one question. Do you ever drive your kids anywhere? Do you drive them?
Yes.
Do you know that your child is 40 times more likely to die in a car crash than being abducted from the street? 40 times?
Probably not in my little town.
Anywhere. I mean, you don't know.
I just think it's so asking for trouble. There's bad people around every corner.
But there are bad people around every corner. That's what you know. Do you watch a lot of cable TV? Do you see a? Do you know? You've heard a girl like in Portugal who was stolen. I mean, we hear these stories from so far away that are
not
such.
so far away.
Portugal's far away.
No, not so far away. There was a girl my daughter's age that went to Target school shopping and came out and was never seen again. These are the things I replay in my.
I know, but if you replay them, you won't let your kids do anything.
They can do whatever they want. I'm getting a GPS chip implanted in each.
You know what? I talked to the guy who runs the company. You can't implant them, only in a pet.
It's not a pet. Can I put an electrical collar on them so when they go too far they get
Here's
shot?
the question, and this is your daughter, okay?
Yeah.
Maria's 17-year-old daughter, Madeline, is here today, and how does this affect you?
I can't be like, well, you know, I'm having this problem with this friend or another friend, because she goes into hyper mode and she...
So you're basically walling yourself off
Yeah.
because of what her reactions
Definitely.
would be.
That's correct.
I mean, is that what you want? I mean, it's not.
No, that's why I'm here. I need to disengage from this poor girl. I'm a...
What a nice mom, though. What a nice mom, right?
Okay, well, here, let's talk about what you call being engaged. I mean, you say you call her 8 to 10 times a day. She doesn't pick up, you start calling her friends.
Yes.
If she's late for curfew, which she shouldn't be if you've negotiated that, I mean, you'll call her like a dozen times.
Oh, yeah.
You drive by with your headlights off so you can look in the windows at her friend's house?
Well, I'd make sure her car is there and she's inside, where she says she's supposed to be.
Okay, why are your lights off?
Well, because she might see me out the window.
Well, do you think she doesn't know you're stalking her?
Well, now she does.
I mean, you're going to run over somebody else's daughter coming home from the subway because you got your lights off. I mean, that's your danger with.
Watching out for her, yeah.
That's your danger with Izzy, that she's going to run over him as he comes home from the bus.
I negotiate very carefully. The road is very easy to navigate at night when I have my pajamas on.
What do you mean
and a hood over my head?
What do you mean you interrogate? What do you mean you interrogate her friends and boyfriends? That's fun to bring your friends home for the Inquisition, right?
She's just shaking her
Yeah,
head.
you know, like every time I bring them home, it's just like she's on top of them as soon as I bring them in the door.
Okay, but here's the question. If you don't allow her to go a little further and a little further and a little further, is she gonna wind up at 30 years old with 2 kids in the back waiting for you to come over and drive them to the store?
I hope so. No. Here's why I'm scared. She's going to be ready for college soon, and I need to just leave her alone because I'm terrified that.
Okay, but did you come here to justify all this, or did you come here to change it? Because she describes you as psycho mom.
I know, that's unfortunate. But I understand it.
Do you understand that the #1 most efficient way in the world to protect children is to prepare them to self-protect? You, on the other hand, are crippling her. Okay?
I know.
You don't mean to.
I don't.
But no, here's what you're doing, though. Here's what you're doing. What you're doing is you're saying, okay, I've got a choice to make. I can either prepare her to be competent in life, or I can make myself feel better in the moment. So it's a very selfish thing you're doing. I know you don't mean it that way, but do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
It's kind of like you do it so you can feel good. The heck with her.
I just love her so much that it comes across as such an extreme smothering.
Okay, but you apparently love yourself more because you're putting your needs above hers.
That's so sad.
Isn't it, though?
It is.
All right, we're going to add another mom to the mix when we come back.
I have 2 boys, and I normally don't let them get out of sight. Chris, right here, Mom. I fear that somebody will mistreat the boys, or they'll get hurt real bad, and they'll need me, and I won't be there. No, stay here. No, you stay here. Zachary?
So I was reading this book about like helicoptery parents that like hover too much. And those kind of parents would like flip out right now that she just did that. But you know what? Sometimes you get into a box you found in an alley and you fall down and things happen. Here's the deal, moms. Kids get sick and kids fall down and they get germs and we all have to deal with it. I mean, there was really something to be said for how my mom parented, which was opening up the door in the summer and saying, get out, come back when it's dark.
All right, the mom you just saw in that clip is Daphne. Now, she's a comic, host of TV Guide channel show, and also has a video blog called coolmom.com. Now, Daphne's joining us here today. She agrees with Lenore and thinks that these helicopter hover moms, like Maria here, need to let go and lighten up. True?
Yes, very true. I think as soon as you're a mom, it's inherent you're a neurotic and anxious nightmare, and you always have to fight it. And I found the first time I was taking my daughter for shots, and I was crying as much as she was, and something flipped in me, and I was like, hey, I'm the mom. I need to, sack up here.
Well, see, here's the thing that I've said a million times. The way children learn to believe in themselves and to have confidence is they watch themselves, just like they were sitting back watching another person. They watch themselves go through the world. They watch themselves master a task. Like I talk to mothers all the time that say, my children are 11 years old and they have never spent a night away from me. And I think, oh, how sad that you're bragging about that. Because children need to learn that, hey, mom and dad went away, and what do you know? They came back. And I was okay while they were gone. I didn't fall apart. I didn't go down. What message are you sending to your daughter when you say, I can't let you out of my sight.
No, but she's not a bumbling idiot. She's very smart and...
No, but you don't want them to be okay in spite of you.
I know.
You want them to be okay because of you.
You're right. I know you're right.
All right, I want to add Sarah to this conversation. She admits that her sons, 12-year-old Christopher and 8-year-old Zachary, are almost never allowed to be more than a few steps away from her. Now, Sarah says she has an overwhelming fear of the boys being abducted. Take a look.
I have two boys. Christopher's the oldest, he's 12, and Zachary, he's the youngest, he's 8 years old. And I always keep him where I can see him. No, stay here. No, you stay here. Zachary? Christopher, wait. Christopher, come here. We're turning. When I drop them off in the morning, I hang around the school quite a bit. Zachary hasn't seen me yet. There he is. Okay. I fear that somebody will mistreat the boys or they'll get hurt real bad and they'll need me and I won't be there. When Zachary asks if he can go to a friend's house, I usually say, no, not today. I let both the boys go to birthday parties, but I stay the whole time. I just worry that they're going to just be abducted. Chris, right here, Mom. My biggest fear is that I'm gonna push them away and they're never gonna come home.
Okay, so you just don't let them out of your sight.
No, not normally.
Do you think this is reasonable? Are you defending this, or?
I want to change it before I do push them away.
Okay, but you understand that this is a process, and that when you smother kids, listen, it is the natural progression of our species that children grow up and break away from their parents. They rebel, they break away. They're supposed to. Now, we have a bunch of retread kids that go to college and then move back home, but what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to grow up and break away. And the more you smother them, the more they just want to break away. You are sealing your fate that they will rebel and run from you and wall you off and cut you off in their life. Am I telling the truth?
You are, yeah. The things that she's so insistent about me not doing, I'm like, well, makes me want to do it even more, so.
No, it's the taboo factor.
No.
It's the taboo factor. If you put it on the to-do list, it takes on mystique and they want it even more.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
Okay, what's the biggest health risk to being a hover mom? We'll answer that when we come back.
I can't go to the library alone, the park alone. I can't even go to the mall to go shopping with my girlfriends.
There's me and there's you, okay? Now, how are you gonna defend yourself if some guy comes up to grab you and pulls you off in the weeds or something? Okay, is it better to be a helicopter mom who hovers over her kids to keep them safe, or a hands-off mom who teaches independence? Now, that's kind of a loaded question because obviously I've said I think you can hover too much, but there is a question of where is the line? Do you get that this is about you, not about her? You're not doing this to protect her because it doesn't. In fact, it cripples her. It takes away her ability to cope with life.
That's my fear.
It's not a matter of fear. You are keeping her from learning certain things because it makes you feel better for her not to.
You're right.
At some point, you got to say, I need to deal with my issues with me and not make her pay for my anxiety. It's like, it's like if you're learning to fly an airplane and all they do is teach you to take off. And, oh, I'm not going to let you land because it scares me too much. Okay? And so then you're gone one day for whatever reason, and she has to land and can't because she never learned to do that. You remember we let Jay come home from France, and he wound up getting routed through Amsterdam and didn't have enough money for a ticket.
Can I say that was probably one of his happiest memories because he got his way through it, right?
How old was he?
He was 13, 14?
No, he was 15.
Yeah. He was in his mid-teens, and he got there and didn't have enough money, and he talked to some lady in line, and she said, how much you need? He said, 13 bucks. So she gave it to him, he got a ticket, and came home. And and he's learned how to do things that way.
And that's a huge memory, obviously, for the whole family, because that was a time when something went really wrong, when the parents weren't there to protect him, and he muddled through, and everybody felt better afterwards.
I was raised with parents that let me be that way, so I don't know what this is about. I was raised with freedom.
But what you know is it's not about her, and the message that you don't want to give to your daughter here, who's obviously a very competent young woman, you don't want to give her the message that she's inadequate.
Oh, God, no.
But isn't that the message? You're inadequate to handle this without me driving by the house. You're inadequate to be at the mall without me at the other end with binoculars. You're inadequate to do all of these things without me calling you 10 times a day. And because of your inadequacy, I will fill the void as Supermom. And so she feels that big, and you get your fix at the moment, and off we go.
I don't like the sound of that. But you're right.
You know, and also, the way it starts out, like, I mean, I don't think I'm a particularly brave mom, even though it sounds that way just from the subway incident. But it's just letting her do a little something,
She's perfectly capable.
She can go to the mall and come back safe, you'll see.
All right, coming up, we're following up with an overprotective mother and her daughter who both came here desperate for help. Now, they haven't been here once, they've been here twice. And I apparently haven't done a very good job. The last time we saw them was 3 years ago. Wait till you see what her hovering has done to their relationship now.
Ashley, don't forget to call me.
Okay, I will.
My mom is so overprotective, it just drives me crazy.
It terrifies me when Ashley's out of my sight.
All of your monitoring, all of your vigilance, in my opinion, is making her more vulnerable. What we're talking about today is, can you be too overprotective with your kids? Can you be too reckless with your kids? And the answer is yes. Parenting extremes are a problem. What you're looking for is that balance that matches your parenting style and strategy to your child's personality, to their competencies, and hopefully we shape them into being able to stand on their own 2 feet. Now, we conducted a poll on drphil.com to see where you, the viewer, stand regarding this issue, and the results were pretty interesting. According to our poll, when asked which is the better parenting approach, helicopter or hands-off, 69% of you responded that helicopter parenting is best. When asked if it's okay to allow a child under 10 to be unsupervised in public, 92% said no. And that's because there wasn't a spot for hell no, okay? Yet, when we ask if hovering over your child's every move is a good or bad parenting decision, 79% said bad idea, not good. Now, Teresa and her daughter Ashley first came to this show to deal with Teresa's overprotectiveness. And like some that we have on the show today, Mom said, I'm here to change it, not to defend it. This all started when Ashley was only 12.
Ashley, don't forget to call me.
Okay, I will.
My mom is so overprotective, it just drives me crazy.
Don't forget, as soon as you're done, call me. It terrifies me when Ashley's out of my sight.
You're going to raise an either overdependent or rebellious child.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to let go some if you negotiate her cooperation in it. Will you consider it?
I will.
Really?
I will.
I didn't believe it then. 2 years later, Teresa and 14-year-old Ashley were back again.
Dr. Phil, last time we were on your show, your advice was great, but my mom is still overprotective.
You don't even trust your own husband to watch your children.
No. Ashley's going to a homeschooling program for high school. If she's homeschooled, I can keep her safe. I can keep her away from the kids that are doing the horrible things and try to shield her from that stuff.
The best way to protect your children is to prepare them to protect themselves. All of your monitoring, all of your vigilance, in my opinion, is making her more vulnerable. Well, that was more than 3 years ago. Ashley is now 17. We've been on the air so long, these kids are growing up. She's a high school senior. Teresa fears her overprotective parenting has now backfired. Oh, really? Really? Was my mic not working? She calls her 17-year-old daughter, Ashley, rebellious. And I quote, rotten.
Last time we were on Dr. Phil's show, he told me that I needed to be less protective and let Ashley be her own person. I've tried, but I mean, she's been rebellious.
She still hovers. She hasn't changed a bit. I have a bad attitude with her, I'm not gonna lie.
You were supposed to answer your phone when I call.
You want to pay the ticket that I get after
You've already got a ticket for it.
Would you want to pay the $175 after the second one?
Oh, should have got the first one. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't your fault. You were on the phone driving.
Cop's fault.
The cop. Oh, it was the cop's fault because he gave you a ticket? Okay, Ash. Huh?
I basically told my mom once I turn 18 that I'm gonna make my own rules.
She says that she hates me, that I'm the worst mom.
I think my mom needs to cut the cord for both of us.
Okay, you think your mom what?
She's cut the cord.
Yeah, cut the cord. You're 17?
Yep.
Okay, ready to go off to college pretty soon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But that,
you
I
think
can guarantee
no.
you.
She's not mature enough. She's still not mature enough. She can't get up until like noon. Okay, so if you're going to college, you have to be up at like 7 a.m., do your classes. I don't always have to be on her to do her classes. She doesn't do her classes. She's homeschooled and she still can't do her stuff on time.
Okay.
Yeah, she's homeschooled.
So it's to the point that you're reaping what you have sown.
Somewhat.
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 Come on.
You told me last time I forgot the terms that you used, but I'm not that way.
Now, how do you argue with that? You told me something I don't remember, but you were wrong.
Well, no, I forgot the phrase that you, or the term that you used,
Okay,
but I was.
But you've been watching the show today?
I have.
Right, you've been watching from
and I
back
agree
here.
with Marie.
You agree with Marie?
I do.
Okay. So, as I am off apt to ask, how's it working for you?
I guess not so great.
All right, I got to take a break. Next, is Teresa right to keep Ashley on a short leash? And if you're having these concerns with your teenager, find out what I think you should do to shape them in the right direction when we come back.
My mom's starting to treat my brother like she did with me. I can see it coming through.
Oh, DJ. Hug me back like you mean it, Dylan. Ow!
He's afraid of being alone with other people and not around her because she's always with him. I have a warning for all the helicopter moms. There's something in teenagers that when there's a rule, we don't want to follow it. And when you overpower and keep saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, it just makes us want to do it more.
All right, today we're talking to moms who say they've made some extreme and controversial parenting decisions. Now, Teresa, do you agree that you're an overprotective mom, or you just think you're protective?
No, I do. I believe
You think
I am.
you're overprotective? Because the other two times you've been here, you've said, I agree with you, I need to negotiate with her and allow things to slip, to move some in the direction of independence. You've said that, but she didn't do it, right?
Not at all.
I compromised and she went totally against. I gave her a curfew, she went against the curfew. When you told me to compromise, I did that.
Okay, did you keep your end of the bargain?
See, she can't even say.
Not all the time.
I gave her 11 o'clock curfew, she got home at 2 o'clock.
But this is the thing. I think when you do hover, smother kids, the rebellion comes hard and it comes fast when it comes, and they make really bad decisions. Case in point, I have a file of pictures here
Exactly.
that you have posted on MySpace. And these are pictures that I'm not going to show on the show today. And tell me why you think I'm not going to show these.
Because they
We
probably
have this one as well.
I understand.
We have this one as
See,
well.
I'm overprotective though, right?
Yes, that's why this stuff happens.
No,
Hold
it's
on.
because she went crazy.
No, and why did she do that?
Because I let her have a few feet off of her leash.
Well, and let me say, so nobody misunderstands this. Number one, the reason I'm not showing these pictures is because I think they're very provocative pictures, and I think pedophiles prey on this stuff all the time, so I'm not going to show them. Having said that, there's nothing like pornographic or, I mean, there's nothing horrid in here. I don't want to mischaracterize what's here, but these are not becoming photos of a young woman. These are not the kind of things that you want a college recruiter to see or a job recruiter to see. These are not the kind of pictures that you want published on the internet forever. You can never, ever unring that bell. It is in cyberspace forevermore. They can be pirated off of there and put on pedophile sites. There can be all kinds of problems, and people can see those when they do searches on you. That's bad. You don't want to do that. It's not good judgment. Okay? Clear? All right. The point is, at this stage of the game, you have to make a decision to start letting her do some things to stand on her own 2 feet independent of you, or she's going to do worse than you would ever try to steer her away from through rebellion.
I took some of your advice from last time, and this is the effect that happens when I let her have free range at times.
No. You're not going to. You're not. No. She applied to college. And you got right through the admission process. You progressed right along.
Yep, and we were going to the last meeting to set everything up,
and what
to
happened?
sign all the papers. She called it off because it was in LA.
No, not just because it was in LA, but I felt that she was not ready. Because if she can't get up till noon, these classes start at 7 o'clock in the morning.
No.
How is she going to do that? And I'm not going to pay $50,000 for a school that she'll only go 3 months.
But you've got to give me the chance to prove to you that I'm not going to do that.
Okay, then you pay the $50,000.
But here's the point: you can't smother her to the point that
go to a community college first and see if she can even hack that. If she can hack that, then I'll do it.
You wanted to go to community college because then you wanted to live at home.
That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Come on, okay, all right. If you're saying no, then we'll just cut the deal. So she can go to community college and live in a dorm.
They don't have dorms at community college.
Or okay, an apartment near college.
That's fine.
You're not going to change a bit of this, are you? Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, Teresa, just as you were walking off the stage, you said what?
I'm going to try.
No, that's not what you said.
I don't remember.
No, what you said, standing right there, you said, I'm going to stop.
Oh, okay.
And I said, no, you're not. And by the time you got to your chair, it went from stop to try.
Same thing.
Yeah, right. Okay, Sarah, have you been worried about your boys during the show?
Yes, actually, I have.
Yeah. Wow. Nothing happened.
Wow.
Gee. And they're in LA.
Wow.
Because you know everybody out here is a bunch of freaks, right? All right, look, we're planning an upcoming show about how to let go of the past. And so I want you to know that this year we have decided that the Dr. Phil Show is your show. Every topic we do, every subject matter we deal with, every story we tell is going to be something you tell us you're interested in and you want to know about. And we've gotten so many letters about this. So I want to share it with everybody out there. If you're just really having trouble with letting go of things that have happened in your past, you're obsessed with revenge, and you get that it's hurting you as well as other people, if you're just holding on to a grudge and can't get over it, and you want to be free of that, then let us know. And also, something that we've gotten a lot of really interesting letters about, if you're the victim of an unsolved crime, and you're just obsessed with getting justice about it, if the past is haunting you and just consuming your day-to-day life, I don't want that for you, so I want to hear from you. So if those things are happening in your life, go to drphil.com and tell us your story, because we're going to be, as I say, this show this year is your show. All right, I want to thank Lenore and Maria and all of our moms here today. All right, thanks for being here. So long.